So this morning I'm going to walk you through starting a batch and getting things up and running. So I explained a little bit in my last video about tips for beginners. And so I'm going to start it up and I'll show you exactly what I do right now. I'll hit the power button on the back of the machine. Just let it go through its cycle here. Shut the drain valve. Close the door. Start. And right away I go to the little button up here. Load trays, close drain valve, continue. Now it's starting to freeze, so it's bypassing the setting where you just press the start and it freezes. What I've done, I've got my product in the freezer. It's been frozen for 3-4 days, so it's rock solid hard. Now I'll let this run for an hour and I'll come back and carry on with that. As far as the pump goes, I was talking about how I changed the oil, which I've done. Oil is back in the machine. Get my demister here. Put that back on and make sure the power is on the pump, and that's all ready to go. So I set my clock for 50 minutes, just under an hour, and I'll come back and check on that. And it should be around 12 degrees, around that range, and I can load my product in. So we'll continue on shortly. Okay, about an hour has gone by now, and come back in to check the temperature. It's getting close to 0, so I can grab the product out of the freezer and bring it over here and put it into the freeze dryer for the next step. So now I'm going to load everything into the freeze dryer after being in the freezer for 3 or 4 days. So it's nice, rock hard and solid, and we'll get it in here. I always double check the drain valve is closed, the pump is on, and the door is sealed tight. And then we'll come back tomorrow morning and rotate the trays and take a look and make sure everything's going good. Okay, so next afternoon, so I'm just going to check the batch and see how it's drying. So shut off the pump, open the drain valve, turn on the moisture meter. Good. Take out a tray. So this is pepperoni, so it's pretty oily. Oh, it broke right in half. Yep, 27%, 10%, 8%. Take out the top one. 23, 27, 28. So that's been going since yesterday morning around 10 o'clock. Pretty crunchy, pretty oily. I haven't done this pepperoni before, and that might be a no-go. So I think I'll put it in for another 4 hours. 25, 26. It's pretty high. So I talked about rotating the trays, so took out the top one, spin it around, put it in the bottom, take the next one, move it down, that one down, this was in the bottom, spin it around, and in the top. So we're good to go there. Close the door, turn on the pump, and close the drain valve. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to add some extra dry time, because it was still in the extended dry time when I mentioned adding 12 hours onto it. Gave me that leeway to play with it. So now just bumped it up, so it'll just continue on drying. And that's where we are for now. Check it back in 4 hours. So we're back again. Had the freeze dry going for another 4 hours and came back and checked the moisture levels. Hadn't gone down at all. So turned it off, and it was interesting inside the chamber where the ice usually builds up around the trays. There was just a skim of ice, like very, very little. So it shows there was very little moisture in the pepperoni. And the trays, when I brought them out, you can see the shininess on there. The amount of oil was really, really high. It was, in some places, it was just pooling in little puddles. So that's not going to freeze dry. And so that was last night. It was 29 hours that it was in there for, so it was a fairly long period of time. And the moisture was still at 28% with the meter. And that shows you moisture levels. So just holding it up on the tray, 9, 8, 3, 4, 8. So that's been sitting for a little while. This is the better of it. So it was basically a failed experiment. I've done pepperoni before, but nothing with that much fat in it. So it was a good test to see if it was going to work or not. And there was just not any point spending more time on it. So I guess the takeaway from that is you can see the little white nuggets of fat in there. And my other pepperoni didn't have the big chunks like that. So that's a big tell right there not to do it. So anyhow, you can do a lot of stuff from the freeze dryer. This is the first time I've actually had something go wrong in 5 years that didn't eventually get zero moisture in it at all. And this was 28% after 29, 32, 34 hours. That's a long time. So anyhow, hopefully you got something out of this, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye now.